The E-Myth Revisited, Michael Gerber. So this is an extensive book about small business, and there's a whole corporation, a whole business setup that can help you with your small business, and to make these franchise examples. He gives the example of McDonald's and how they changed the whole industry, that a small business is likely to go out of business in the first 5 years. But if you get into a franchises most likely make it. And so McDonald's was the big start, the big takeoff of the franchise model. And so he is telling you to take your small business and make it a franchise. Study what you do and do exactly what you do. Break it down into the different parts, even if there's only a couple of you or if it's just you. Break it down into the different responsibilities and then study exactly how to do these things. And instead of getting people who are excellent managers, are experts in their field, you make a system, and then you can put anybody in the system. You can put a young person in the system and have them follow your system. And so E-Myth Revisited, I think the idea of the E-Myth, I'm not sure, but I think the E-Myth, the idea is that it's only entrepreneurs can start these small businesses. And he makes it clear that no, it's not just the entrepreneur type, but he warns against going into the small business as a technician. You have to not work in your business, but work on your business. And so you turn your small business into a little money machine. You make a plan for 7 years down the road. What is my business going to be worth in 7 years? It's 10 times earnings. And where am I going to be? And so there's an example of this lady. She's a pie maker. She has this little small pie place, and she goes through what most small businesses go through. And she hires somebody, and she trusts them to just handle things. And as she gets a few people under her business, the pies suffer, the business suffers, the quality suffers. And so she wants to get rid of everybody and just do everything herself, be the technician. And she's unable to work on the business because she's working in the business in her pie corporation. And he wants her to look at what she wants to see at the end of her life. What does she want people to say at her funeral? And so she goes back to when she was a girl and her aunt was teaching her how to make pies and putting care into the pies, and the big picture of what she wants to see accomplished, and to instill that into every customer and to every employee and into the business. And so by the end of the book, she has this goal. She's going to have 4 stores, and it's going to be worth $5 million, and they're going to have $100,000 revenue from each store. And it's just a very, very detailed plan, and it kind of works her through it, and she gets this passion, this newfound passion again for her business. And so standardization, you set it up, you have a system. He talks about this hotel chain that he fell in love with, that he really liked, and they had this system. He talks about IBM. He talks about they studied everything, and they got the color blue, big blue, IBM, and that blue helped with sales. And so he talks about marketing in some very specific ways, and it's an emphasis in the book. But you find out what a customer, you find out a problem that people have, and you solve that problem. You make a promise that no one else will promise, and then you deliver on that promise. And it's a big emphasis on marketing and part of the business plan. And so he gives other business examples. 2 men are in a business, and they divide up the responsibilities and kind of go ahead and look at how big the business is going to be in 7 years and lay out the plan for that 7-year plan and the responsibilities that are in it. And so you've got the franchise model, that you set up your business in such a way that you can export it, so anybody could do it. You don't want experts. You just want people that will follow the system, and you have a passion for the system. This idea of playing a game, that you set up a game for people to play, and you play the game, you follow the rules, and you expect them to follow the rules, and you play a game in the business, and that's the brass tacks of working things out in the business. He talks about a sales technique, and I feel like the book itself is following the sales technique. He's bringing you along how he can help you, and then at the end he points you to his corporation that can walk you through this E-Myth problem and solution, and help your business to become a franchise model, and to work out the marketing and work out the production means and exact science. And so he kind of does his own sales technique. He sells you on the emotion of the idea. I feel like he's missing the Bible, right? The Bible is my truth, and he'll throw the Bible in there, but he wants there to be a deep meaning behind your life and a deep meaning behind your business, because you can't let your business suck away your life, but rather feed your life. I don't know. It's interesting, but I feel like for me, the Bible is the truth, and it is the foundation. It is the spirituality, and so it would be the source of truth and the motivation. Whatever you do, do heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men. And so by having that truth laid out in the Bible, I feel like as a Christian, it gives us an advantage. So there are moments where I disagree with where he's going, but this idea of doing the same thing every time seems to be a big truth, a big idea that you can you set up the best method in the business. That's how you get quality and manufacturing, and that's how you're able to bring people in that can produce the same results. And it's a really interesting book, a lot of stuff to think about. There are a few times where it gets kind of wonky in the marketing and maybe in the finance where driving down the road it was difficult to keep up with, but otherwise it did have some really thought-provoking ideas of taking a small business and projecting out 7 years where it's going to be, and making everything that you do reproducible, and studying it so that it's the best that it can possibly be. Certainly was worth my time to read.